Okay, now you should be at the point now from watching your previous modules where you can pretty much, you know how to hold the guitar, you know how to use the pick, you know how to tune the guitar, okay? And now it's time to start learning some chords. And remember our three goals. Our three goals are we're going to learn some chords, learn how to strum, change chords, and then we're playing songs that fast. Because we're quick here, we don't mess around. We get results. Results orientated, goal orientated, that's what you got to do. Push yourself to get to the next level. Okay, so remember, on your left hand or your fret hand, or your right hand if you're lefty, but your fret hand, whatever hand you're fretting the notes with, guitar lingo, as always, your fingers are numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your index finger is 1, the middle finger is 2, the ring finger is 3, and the pinky is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So when I say fourth finger, third finger, you know what I'm talking about. Or you're looking at chord charts and you see the numbers underneath the lines, you know that's referring to what fingers go on what strings. You also should know now the names of the open strings. E, A, D, G, B, E. Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Goodbye, Eddie. Remember our little an acronym, which we read somewhere. Okay, so now's the time where you're going to have to start fretting some chords, and let's start memorizing them, okay? I'm going to show you your first chord to memorize, and we have chord videos also that I want you to look at, which are in-depth studies on each of these chords. So make sure you pull those up and watch those in our chord library, chord video library. Very unique features here that you're getting at thenextlevel.com. Okay, I want you to play an E minor chord. We're going to do that, and then I'm going to show you the technique that you're going to need to use on your left hand. And then I'm going to bring the camera in, or I'm going to come in real close so you can see exactly what I'm talking about on these things. Alright? E minor. What you want to do is you want to take your first finger and put it at the second fret on the A string. And then you're going to take your second finger and put it right underneath that second fret on the D string. Okay? So you get this chord. Okay? Now I'm going to come in close with the camera, but I want to, not yet, I want to show you a couple things technique that you need to be doing when you're fingering chords. Okay? This is critical. Remember, your right hand technique, you can hold the pick. The right hand isn't as critical with what's going on right now. You're going to spend most of your time on the left hand. I'm going to come in close for a second, but I want to show you this. Here's the thing. You have to be on your fingertips, not flattened out, on the fingertips when you're fingering chords. We talked about keeping your fingernails short, and we also talked about it's going to be a little discomforting at first. Not much. Again, we make it easy and fun here at the Next Level Guitar, but you might experience a little discomfort when you're pressing down on the strings. And it might hurt your fingers a little bit, and like after you practice for a half an hour, you might be like, ooh, geez, this hurts. That goes away in time. Your fingers will build up calluses on the tips, and I don't even feel it. You won't even feel it after a little while. So that's just in the beginning. As well as your wrist, from bending a certain way, you might feel a little discomfort. If you're feeling big pain, stop. Give it a rest. That's your body telling you something is wrong. But if you have a little discomfort, again, that's normal because your wrist isn't going to be used to bending like this. I'm going to give you, coming up, some finger stretches and some hand stretches to get your fingers stretched out and dexterous, and we're going to get into finger exercises down the road to get everything stretched out, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in real tight with this shot, okay? Because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing here with the left hand, because remember, this left hand is critical, okay? Now, here we go. Nice and tight on the left hand. Okay, remember our E minor chord. Here's our nut. That's not a fret. Remember from parts of the guitar. First fret right here. Second fret right here. Third fret right here. E minor. There's the chord. Okay? Now, I'm actually a little too close. There we go. If you want to take that out of here. Good. Now, here's the thing. Fingers on the fingertips. I'm not flat like this. This is incorrect because you'll be hitting other strings. On your fingertips. Wrist down. Notice my wrist is down. I am not up here. You're not gripping the guitar with your thumb over the top like a baseball bat. That is incorrect. Watch my wrist. The wrist is down. Okay? If I come out just a hair for you to see it this way, my wrist is not up like this. See what that does to your shoulder? It puts you in a very unnatural position. Everything should be very natural and flowing. Okay? So, on the fingertips, let me get my other two fingers out of the way. Wrist down. Okay? Thumb. For now. We're going to change this later, but for now, try to have your thumb in the back of the neck. I'm just pushing it over so you can see it. About even with the first or second finger. Remember, here's my first finger, there's my second finger. Okay? Or in between the two. Don't have your thumb way out here. Don't have your thumb way, way down here. About even with the first or second finger. For now, and in the back of the neck. And I'm not pushing really, really, I'm not doing that. I'm just using it almost like a fulcrum. Just there, providing support. Again, because that's unnatural doing this. You want to be very natural and flowing. So, fingertips, okay? Pressing straight onto the notes. I'm not bending the strings. Make sure you're not bending any note as you're hitting it. If you're bending the note, okay? If you're bending a note, then it's going to sound out of tune. All right? So you're on your fingertips, and this is the technique you're going to be using with all the chords. Not just with this one. I'm showing you this as an example up tight so you can see it. But this is the technique you're going to be using. Fingers cupped on your fingertips. Wrist down. Thumb anchored in the back of the neck about even with the first or second finger. The other thing I want you to be doing too is your other two fingers, just because you're not using them, don't have them way out of position. What I mean by that is don't have your other two fingers way out here. Fingers close to the fretboard at all times. Now my third and fourth fingers are not playing any notes with this chord, but I'm having them close to the fretboard. You don't want to be out of position like that. There's a real good shot of that right there. Fingers in tight. In fact, take your pinky, your fourth finger, and I'd rather, instead of like this, keep your pinky, I call it piggybacked, on your third finger. So it's up against it tight. That's going to come in handy when we do bar chords later. So I'm teaching you the proper technique now, which is going to carry you through to further levels. Okay? Notice my fingers are not way out like this. They're in tight. You want to be close to the fretboard at all times. Okay? Pinky piggybacked on your third finger. Fingertips, wrist down, thumb anchored in the neck. I'm not touching any other strings. And also, this finger is not hitting my third finger, my second finger is not hitting any other strings. Okay, because then the chord won't sound properly. Because when I hit this chord, I want to hear all 6 notes ring true. Again, notice where my thumb is. Always in the proper position. Notice my wrist is down, not up. Thumb is not here. This is critical. I keep going over this because I've seen a lot of students come in with poor technique, and I have to undo all that. And it's very hard to untangle those bad habits. So I want to start you off doing the proper technique from the start. You'll thank me later! Alright? So, here's what this chord should sound like. And I'm just going to go through it here so you can see this. Okay? And hit them all together. That's E minor. Here's what E minor should not sound like. Oh, that's a dead string. Why is that dead? Well, I'm not pressing down hard enough. Let me press down a little harder. There it is, now I got it. Let's go further on with the chord, one string at a time. Ooh, I have another dead string here. Why is that? Well, if I look, my wrist has come up and my second finger is hitting this string which shouldn't be hitting because those strings should be played open. I'm only fretting with 2 fingers. All the other strings are open. So let me try it again now. I get down on my wrist, check my technique is right, and now you should hear all 6 notes. Then play them all together. Okay. That's what you have to do for all of these chords that we're learning. Play them one at a time, the notes, and make sure that all the notes ring true. No pops, no string noises, no open dinks or dead strings. One at a time, all the way through, then all together. And we're going to, remember, we're going to learn 8 or 9 chords, 9 chords to start, which you'll be playing hundreds of songs with, just with those 9 chords. So the technique is critical that you get this down. I'm going to give you those 6 points again for you to remember. Okay? Wrist down. Alright? Wrist down. Fingers cupped. See the cuppage I'm getting here? I could slide my whole arm almost in between here. Fingers cupped. Wrist down. On the fingertips. Okay? Fingers not hitting any other strings. Thumb in the back of the neck, about even with the first or second finger or in between 2. Okay? And I'm not bending any strings. And the most important thing is don't get discouraged, because these chords might take you a couple weeks, a month to get them all to sound really good. We're making it fun, but at first, you have to work through a little of the discomfort of your fingertips, and it's a little challenging, but you will get it. You can do it! Remember, you can do it! And practice these chords, and we're going to go through them one at a time, each note, okay? So, I want you to practice that E minor, and remember, that's the technique, those 6 items for all the chords. Don't